They said that crypto was dead and that Ripple was a fraud. What those people said is now being planned behind closed doors for a time when XRP isn't just another currency, but the basis of the new global financial system. Even though this isn't financial help, pay close attention, because the next 12 months could make or break your next 12 years. Let's talk about Swift's demise, Ripple and XRP. There is something going on behind the curtain. Lots of trillions, not just millions, are waiting calmly and quietly for clarity. Ripple is not making a way to pay. Ripple is getting the internet of value up and running, like how Amazon began with rare books. Not because that was their ultimate goal, but because that was where they could make the most money. Cross-border payments are where Ripple began. This is a 10 trillion business, but it's just the beginning. We are on the verge of a financial reset and a structural change, and only people with strong beliefs will make it through to the other side. Let me show you what it really looks like. Some people say that you can still buy XRP even though it's being sold at a high price. Of course, anyone can go to a market and buy a few hundred tokens. The trouble is that stores aren't ready to go all in yet. They aren't mentally ready. They're not going to spend $10,000 on something that the media still calls a case coin. That window of time when you could buy a lot of XRP for very little money is now gone. At 50, $1,000 bought you $2,000 in XRP. These days, $1,000 only gets you about $282 in XRP. Let's say that XRP reaches $100. It's worth $28 and $200 in XRP, which is $282. Good. But let's see how they rank. The person who bought at 50 cents with the same $1,000 is now worth $200,000. And for someone who buys today to reach $200,000, XRP needs to reach $700 per token. That's how big the change is. You'll find everything you need to step up your spending and start winning like a pro. Chances to accumulate a lot of things don't last forever. When they are over, they don't ring a bell. They just go away. You wake up one day and find that you're too expensive. Do you think that's too far? Things are getting worse? Let's say you feel good about things. You put $3,000 into it today. For most people, that's a pretty big amount. About 850 XRP will be yours. That same 3,000 would have bought you 6,000 XRP back when they were 50. The early investor stack grows to $600,000 at $100 per token. $85,000 is yours. You could be making more than $500,000 right now. And if you're one of the few people who is ready to put in 10,000 lines right now, you'll get 2,800 XRP. That could be a gain of $280,000 at 100 XRP. Okay? Yes. But early buyers of $10,000, they get 20,000 XRP. That's a $2 million profit. You get it now. It's not enough to know if you can buy. It's about getting enough. And that answer is no for most people entering now. This is why people who own XRP are becoming the new 1%. They bought when no one else would. They made it when the foodie was talking the most, and they knew something that most people didn't. Most cryptocurrencies are just talk. But XRP is useful. Take a step back. You're not just buying a ticket right now. You are buying a ticket to the future of the United Ledger. The goal of Ripple is not to break up banks. The rails they need to make it in the new world are here with Ripple. We are going to talk about RTGS, cross-chain liquidity, interledger protocols, and real-time gross payment. Bitcoin is not able to change these things. Ethereum isn't big enough. This is what XRP was made for. Also, what's crazy, there are already rights in place. Some became live, some were changed, and some are still pending. Why? Because the biggest financial players in the world are getting ready, checking up, finishing up. Ripple, the Interledger Protocol, ILP, and real-time settlement are all named in WorldPay's invention. Also, when does it expire? 2039. If you're not building the next big business, you don't bet 14 years ahead of time. It's not just patents either, it's people. Adrienne Harris is on a panel with Brad Garlinghouse. She used to be a special assistant in the White House on economic policy, and now works for the New York State Department of Financial Services. Sheila Bair, who was chair of the FDIC during the 2008 crisis, has been named twice as one of the most important women in the world. She is now on the same stage as Brad. Besides that, Sandy O'Connor is on the board of directors for Ripple and is also a member of the FDIC's Systemic Resolution Advisory Committee. This is the real club. These people decide when the next crash and reset will happen. Are you beginning to see the picture? People who were in charge of the last world collapse are now working on the next one. And Ripple is at the center of it all. There is no crazy plot going on here. These are patents, public records, and public meetings. CBS and Bloomberg aren't telling you about them still. Now let's talk about cash, which is the real driver. When Ripple built Ripplet, they thought that once crypto liquidity was stable, they could switch to on-demand liquidity, ODL, and stop settling transactions in traditional currency. That move is going to happen. Brad himself said it. The system was made to be able to switch on when the time came. We can see it now. It's getting busier, more lanes are opening, and more central banks are getting involved. In the meantime, SWIFT is still using band-aids to try to update a plan that was made decades ago. It's not a competition. They are still alive. For now, old system is falling apart. And Ripple isn't here to fix it. Ripple is here to take it in. Every flaw, every bottleneck, and every late move are eaten up by XRP liquidity. That day will never come because it will be too late to save up trillions of dollars that have been sitting on the wings. Do you remember what Blockchain Capital's Bart Stevens said? Since 2013, he has put money into Ripple, Kraken, and Coinbase. Blockchain Capital was given $25 million in XRP by Ripple to look into possible uses. Bart made it very clear. This type of wealth is growing faster than any other in history. It's faster than Metagool and Apple. It's not reasonable to have no crypto exposure at all. Someone on YouTube isn't that one of the most well-known and respected VCs in the space, a guy who has been there and seen it all. How about this ecosystem? He says trillions are on the way. He's not by himself. As soon as rules are clear, CBDC start working together and the unified record goes live. XRP will be the link. Do you get it now? Every central bank, private payment company, and business that is stuck in the SWIFT slow lane will need a way to move forward. It was built by Ripple. Do you still want to know if XRP will hit $100, or are you finally seeing that it was only the start? Let's keep going because we can't ignore what's going to happen next. There are now global payment leaders, past FDIC heads, central bankers, and financial regulators on the same stage as Ripple. It's not about what will happen if the system flips. They're planning out how they'll carry it out. Plus, they don't want stores to know this until it's too late. The next system for handling money won't just work with XRP. Because of that, it will run. What do we see now at Ripple Swells? Sandy O'Connor is on the board of directors at Ripple, and Sheila Bair was chair of the FDIC during the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression for the White House. Adrienne Harris made U.S. fintech guidelines. It's not an accident. This is the orchestra, and at its core is blockchain. A new way to keep track of money, build things, and talk about money. You've already seen the quote. We are about to get rid of the old way of handling money and accounting and replace it with a new one that we manage. What do they mean by that? It sounds just like that. No more paper tracks. There have been slow developments. The only way to move forward is to have frictionless, customizable money that is also compliant and tokenized. The Interworld Ledger Communication Protocol is important because of this. It lets different ledgers, whether they are controlled or not, talk to each other. In other words, ILP lets the back end of your bank, the CBDC in your country, your DEFI wallet, and your smart contract all work together without any problems. What is Ripple's own digital asset, XRP? Do you think WorldPay accidentally talked about Ripple in their 2039 patent? Do you think they chose XRP as an example of a settlement layer just for fun? Without a doubt, not. Let's talk about power now. As of 2023, Ripple's on-demand liquidity ODL service handled more than $30 billion in cash across more than 40 payment markets. That number is growing very quickly, but most of that amount has been done so far without clear rules from U.S. regulators. Take that and billions often adopted in the U.S. Think about what happens after the clarity. Also, guess what? Ripple has already won most of its case against the SEC. If you buy or sell XRP on an exchange, the court said it is not a property. That's really big. That's the okay sign. Now, big money is keeping an eye on things. Some are moving already. Most people are waiting for the right time. And that moment is being planned behind the scenes right now. So let me make this very clear. There will be no 0.30 XRP again. So don't waste your time waiting for it. This environment has changed for good. In fact, when XRP touched $3.51 recently, the price movement was still muted compared to what's coming. Why? We know there is a spike when the demand graph goes straight up. That desire won't come from stores. Tsunamis will be settled by central banks that handle money moving across borders. Companies are moving their global salaries around in real time. CBDCs changing by going across a neutral bridge. Sovereign wealth funds want to decide how to spend all of that money. It goes under one bridge, XRP. Who did that? By the way, Chris Larsen, one of the founders of Ripple in 2014, he said that Ripple has never been the same as Bitcoin. Anything valuable could be put in it. XRP doesn't care about value. You can now move any kind of value across any kind of ledger with ILP. That's not a lie. That's a vision that has now come true. Let's keep this useful. XRP is more than just a token. If you own it right now, you have a key in your hand, a key part of the new money system. But let me show you how quickly most investors lose money. If someone puts $1,000 in today, they will get about 282 XRP back. That's $28,200 worth of XRP. But XRP needs to reach $700 per token for someone who bought it at $50 to get a $200,000 return. It means that the store has set its prices too high. Of course, it's not completely out yet. You can still buy, but mass accumulation, that window's gone. Right now, the only ways to accumulate are to either take a very strong position, go all in, or already have a lot of money to put away. Also, guess what? Most retail won't do either. In the next phase, XRP will only be able to be bought by a very small group of wealthy people, institutions, and governments. The average individual investor will not be able to afford it. Right now, ask yourself, are you going to watch or are you going to be early? No reason to miss that. Let's end with the truth that almost everyone will not care about. The reset is not coming. It's already underway. Take a look. The dollar is being pushed around the world. Nations are setting up gold-backed BRICS currencies. CBDs are now used in more than 100 countries. WorldPay is activating blockchain patents, naming Ripple. The FDIC is literally partnered with Ripple's board members. Still think XRP is just another altcoin? Let me tell you something. You can only hold tight if you've bought right. If you're already in, stay sharp, watch the volume, and be patient. The move is coming. If you're not in yet, you might still have a sliver of time. But once Ripple flips the switch fully, once the world starts moving trillions over ILP rails powered by XRP, you won't be able to chase the train. It will be gone. And all that will be left are screenshots of old charts and regret. Salute to those who understood.